screen. Is that good? Great. So 2 truths and 1 lie for me, just very quickly. Number 1, Jeremy is 52 years old. Number 2, Jeremy is from the United States. Or number 3, Jeremy is a close protection officer, a bodyguard for the Thai government. Of those 3, which one do you think is a lie? And if you want to type, you can, or if you prefer to speak, please do. Number 3 is a lie, really? Well, actually, I am a close protection officer with the Thai government. I'm employed by the Interior Ministry and the Prime Minister's office to provide close protection services for VIPs. I'm also a teacher trainer who is 52 years old, but I come from England. I do not come from the United States. So actually number 2 is false. Number 1 and 3 are actually true. Okay, let us stop sharing this now. Tell me if you're able to see this. Hopefully you can. Can you see a new page that says Teacher Talk and Classroom Management? Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Great. And are you able to hear me okay? All good? Lovely. So the purpose then of this particular session is to have a think about teacher talk, teacher language, and classroom management. There is a fair bit to get through. It isn't critical that we get through everything today. What's important is that we're able to share our experiences and our practice, and we're able to build capability. So we will try to get through as much as we can. But if we aren't able to complete it, isn't a drama, as we're always able to do it in our own time, at our own pace. So at the end of the session, hopefully you will be able to do these 4 things, which you can probably do already, but hopefully even better. Identify how a teacher can use classroom language to assist the understanding of learners. To use short and simple language and gestures to give and check instructions before classroom activities. Use eliciting as a way of drawing information from learners and involving them. Eliciting is to draw the information from the learners as opposed to tell them. And to conduct meaningful feedback to students at the end of an activity. And we have a summary, which you've probably already read. And we have a learning checklist, which we can have a look at the end to see if you have done all that. Now, in this particular session, I'm planning to act as a facilitator. So I will therefore be asking you to work on your own and to have to think about things and also to be able to contribute. So I don't plan to do all the talking. I plan to do only a little bit of the talking. I'm planning to get all of you to do the thinking and the talking, if that's okay. If you want to talk, if you want to contribute, of course, you will have to press the unmute button on your screen. And if we're talking at the same time, if we can just try to take it in turns, because there are quite a few people here. Okay, great. So the first question is, what is the activity cycle? Have you heard of the activity cycle? Over to you. Feel free to comment. Anybody? Anybody at all? Have you heard of the activity cycle? Yes or no? Silence. Feel free to comment. Please.
อาจารย์สามารถเปิดไมโครโฟนพูดได้เลยนะครับหรืออาจารย์จะพิมพ์ในแชทบ็อกซ์ก็ได้ขอบพระคุณครับเมื่อสักครู่คำถามของอาจารย์เจอร์มี่ก็คือว่า activity cycle นะครับนะอาจารย์เคยได้ยินคำนี้ไหมแล้วนะครับแล้วว่าคำว่า activity cycle เนี่ยในความเข้าใจของอาจารย์คืออะไรนะครับขอบพระคุณครับ
Has anybody heard of this before? Yes or no? How about we start by typing in the chat? So that's no, 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 no. Okay, good to know. Well, the activity cycle is basically what we can call the 4 stages of any classroom activity. So whatever you're doing with your learners, you can create interest in the topic. You can set up the activity where you provide the instructions. Many of you might do this in Thai rather than English. Then when they're actually in the activity, you monitor the activity. And then we have the feedback stage at the end of an activity where we see how they did. So these are the 4 stages of the activity cycle. Now, here we have 4 activities that happen, and we need to match these to the activity cycle. So, teacher checks that students are on task and notes examples of good language or errors. So which stage of the activity cycle do you think that is? Feel free to chat or feel free to speak. Is it create interest, set up activity, monitor an activity, or the feedback stage? What do you think, colleagues? Feel free to chat or feel free to speak. 1, 2, 3, or 4. What do you think? Don't be scared. We're all friends here. So which stage do you think? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Feel free to write in the chat. 3. Okay, great. Anybody else? 3. Good. Anybody think it isn't 3? Feel free to comment. Yes, it is 3. This is the stage where the teacher is able to check that the students are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's the first thing to check, and that every table is on task. And then you're able to note any examples or of good language or any errors that you plan to correct at the end. Okay, so B, this often acts as a good signpost signaling the end of a lesson or activity. So this comes at the end of the lesson. What would that be? 2, 3, or 4? I'm sorry, number 1, 2, or 4 rather. What do you think? Feedback, absolutely, that's the feedback stage, great. And we have be having a look at how to do learner-centered feedback a little bit later, I hope. Teacher uses a picture or story or question to introduce the students to the topic. So what's that going to be, colleagues? Teacher uses a picture, story, or question. Exactly, it's create interest in the topic. And so therefore, using our powers of deduction, the teacher gives students instructions and checks they know what to do in the activity is indeed set up the activity. Great. So let's have a look at some of the classroom language we might use to do this. So work with a partner and match the words and the pictures. That's going to be set up the activity. So excellent, you've nearly finished. Remember to work in pairs. When do you think the teacher will say that? Feel free to comment or to speak. Excellent, you've nearly finished. Have they nearly finished in setting up the activity? You've nearly finished. Remember to work in pairs. I can understand how remember to work in pairs could be the setup, yes, but exactly. Monitor activity because they've nearly finished. So the teacher is providing encouraging feedback to them. Well done, you've nearly finished in the monitoring stage. What's happening in the picture? What's happening in the picture? What can you see? Which stage is that? Great interest, absolutely. So finally, so how many words did you match? And what's the answer to number 3? What stage is that? That is the feedback stage. Yes, absolutely. Interesting to note with those 2 questions. So how many words did you match? That's more of what we can call the general feedback, which is where we ask the learners how they got on. How did you find it? Did you enjoy it? How many words did you match? As opposed to the specific feedback of the content. So what is the answer to number 3? Okay, good job. So now we're going to move on to some kissing, giving and checking instructions. Keep it short and simple. When setting up an activity, a teacher will often give students instructions. It is important to keep these instructions short and simple. So now we're going to complete this table. On the left, we have don't say. On the right, we have do say. And for this, I encourage you to actually speak, because this will probably make it faster for us to get through the content. So if you're feeling brave, please feel free to unmute your microphone and to say what you think it could be. So, do not say, could you open your book, page 16? Do say, open your books, page 16. So, do not say, now I would like you to work in pairs. Do say,
work in pairs.
excellent, well done.
Okay, thank you.
Don't say, please listen to what I'm going to say. Do say, I'm quite happy here drinking coffee, so if you want to take a look at them, that's fine. Do say one word. What's the word? Listen. Okay, good. Or listen, be carefully, or please listen. Great. Okay, lovely. Don't say, could you possibly work in groups? Do say, work in groups. Good. It's easy to use an imperative, isn't it, there? And do not say, I would appreciate it if you could come to the front. Do say, don't be shy, please come to the front, or just come to the front. Absolutely. Good. Do not say, okay, I want you to stand behind each other in a straight line. Do say, what do you think? Don't be shy. Good, that works. It's in the chat. Or, good, or make a straight line. And we're going to look at how maybe gesture could help make that even clearer. An alternative is to do what we call the instructions sandwich. And the instructions sandwich is just like a sandwich. You've got the bread, then you've got the filling, and then you've got the bread. So you give the instructions in English, then you give the instructions in Thai, and then you give the instructions in English again. And this helps them to understand what it is that they're doing. It also improves their vocabulary and their listening skills in English. So in English, first of all, then in Thai, and then in English. Now, how many of you give instructions in English, and how many of you give instructions in only Thai, and how many of you give instructions in English and Thai? In the comments, if you give instructions only in Thai, write T. If only in English, write E. And if in Thai and English, or if you do, for example, the instruction sandwich, English, Thai, English, then write ETE, or whatever it is that you do. Can you do that quickly now in the chat box? And we'll see who does Thai, who does English, who does both. Okay, well, that's good to see. That's great. I was working for the British Council about 4 years ago, and 4 years ago, teachers were very reluctant to use English for their instructions. It's great to see people are doing that as well. Great. Okay, good to know. Right, let's move on. Using gestures then. An even simpler method is to use gestures. So what gesture can you use for these classroom instructions? Open your book to page 16. Well, that's a pretty obvious one. In order to appear on the screen, if you would like to say your name and then to give your gesture. So work in pairs. What could you do as a gesture for that? Kindly say your name and then show us your gesture. Whoever you like, go. Work in pairs. What could you do? Don't be shy.
Maybe sure that there is 2 fingers like this.
Absolutely. Work in pairs. And then you go around, yes, or like
That's
that.
true.
That's absolutely great. That's an alternative. Oh, that's very good. Next one is listen. I think that's a fairly easy one. So please say your name and then, yes, great. People are already doing it. Listen, yeah. Speak, listen, okay, think, etc. Okay. Work in groups. How could that work? What do you think? Work in groups. Anybody? Yeah, that could work, absolutely. And so it could be working groups, and you actually show the groups while you do this. It's clear that people are working together in groups of 3 or 4. Come to the front. What could you do there? Come to the front. I know that in Thailand we have a particular way of doing this because it's impolite to do it in the way we do it in England. How would you do that? Come to the front. Yes, come to the front. In England, we do this. That isn't polite in Thailand, only if you're going to be a policeman directing traffic. Come to the front, absolutely. And make a line. What can we do to make a line? Yeah, make a line. Make a line. That's make a line. That's quite clear. Just
excuse me, Mr. Jeremy.
Yes.
Could you please have a sound check again?
Sound check. Okay. Are you able to hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Could you please bring your microphone down a little bit?
Down a little bit. Okay.
And under your lower lip.
Under my lower lip. Okay. Let's try that. How's that? Any better?
Okay. Better a little bit. Okay.
A little bit better, yeah. Okay. I've just lost my other earpiece there.
Okay, that's great.
Are you able to hear me okay now?
ทุกท่านได้ยินเสียงของทีเชอร์เจอร์มี่ชัดไหมครับชัดไหมครับโอเคถ้าชัดรบกวนทุกท่านกดปุ่มยกมือกดปุ่มไลค์หน่อยครับผม
Are you able to hear me okay?
โอเคงั้นก็ได้ยินชัดนะครับนะ Yeah, thank you very much ครับ Please.
Okay, thank you. So just to say that this is actually about to get a little bit more complicated than this, but we just want to look at these things first of all. Okay, so looking at checking instructions, it's important that we check our instructions, make sure that our learners know what they have to do. And we can do this in English because it will further help their English. The teacher should check instructions to check that students understand the instructions to an activity. We do this by asking information checking questions. We can call these ICQs. A simple way to create ICQs is to turn the instructions into questions that you ask the learners. So, for example, you told them to work in pairs. So you ask them, are you working in pairs or are you working alone? Listen. You ask them, are you going to read or listen? We're going to listen, teacher. When I say go, come to the front. What do you do? When I say go, we come to the front. Open your books, page 16. So books open or closed? And what page? Good, 16. You have 5 minutes. You ask them, how much time do you have? Okay. So now we're going to write some information checking questions for this activity, which is called fruit salad. You may have heard of fruit salad, or you may not have done. You have to form a circle with your chairs, and I will say change places if. And if this is you, you change places. For example, if you are a boy, change places. Change places if you're a girl. And then all the boys have to change places. And all the girls change places. Change places if you are wearing a watch. And everyone wearing a watch changes places. Change places if you're wearing skirts. Change places if you're wearing red. And every time they change places, you take a chair away. So they have to fight a fight over a chair. And if they cannot sit down, then they are out and they have to go and stand over there. And so change places if you are wearing glasses. Change places if you are wearing socks. Change places if you're wearing black trousers, etc. And if the teacher says fruit salad, everyone changes places. So here we have the activity. Can you think of some ICQs to check the understanding of the activity? And we have some prompts. Circle. Number 2, boys, girls. Watch, no watch. Fruit salad. So feel free to chat or to speak. What is an information checking question that we can ask in order to make sure that they know they need to form a circle? What can we ask them? What can we ask them? To form a circle. Any idea? What can we ask? Are you going to be in a square or in a circle? And the answer is in a circle. Okay, so boys, girls. Ask yourself, boys, girls, what happens when I say change places if you are a boy? Who changes places, the boys or the girls? And the answer, who can type it in their comment box? Exactly, the boy. Good. So if I say change places if you're a girl, who changes places? The girls. Great. Watch, no watch. Who can think of a question? Who can think of a question? Watch, no watch. Anybody? Who's wearing a watch? Yes, good, that's great. Are you wearing a watch? Yes, good. And I say change places if you're wearing a watch. Who changes places? Hands up. And you can check to see who's wearing a watch. Okay, great. And lastly, fruit salad. What's the question there? I'll help you. The first word might be who. Who? Who changes? Who changes places when I say fruit salad? And the answer is who? There's a clue actually on your comment box. The word's already there. Who changes places when I say fruit salad? Anyone? Well, the answer is, I'll type it for you. Everyone. Ah, somebody already did. Thank you. At the same time. Great. Good job. Everyone. Absolutely. We all change places. Okay. So that's information checking questions. Now, moving on to eliciting from our learners. Benjamin Franklin said famously, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Now, eliciting is drawing information from students, normally by asking them questions or giving them a prompt. This could be a visual prompt, a picture. What's this? What can you see in the picture? Or it could be maybe a gesture. Or it could be a question of any sort. Eliciting makes students involved in the lesson and increases their talking time. As a general rule, elicit, do not tell. It is possible to elicit anything rather than tell them if you turn it into a question. So here we have an example of a teacher telling a class of 15-year-old boys how to play football. But 15-year-old boys know how to play football. Complete the table, and where the teacher tells the students, elicit the information from the students by asking a question. So, teacher tells, there are 2 teams. No, the teacher elicits, how many teams are there? The teacher tells, each team has 11 players. No, the teacher elicits, so what question do they ask? Each team has a goal. No, we need to elicit that. So what can we ask the students? The idea is to get the ball into the other team's goal. No, we want to elicit that. So what can we ask them? The team with the most goals wins. We can elicit that by saying, how do you win the match? Oh, the team with the most goals. The person in the goal is called the goalie, and he tries to stop the ball going in the goal. No, we want to elicit that. How can we elicit that from our learners? You can only hit the ball with your feet, head, or chest. You cannot use your hands. So what question can we ask to elicit that? You cannot take the ball if there is no one between you and the goal. This is called being offside. What is being offside would be a good question. The person who polices the match is called the referee. Elicits who. And if you foul or break the rules, you can get a yellow card or a red card. A red card means you leave the game. You are sent off. So what questions could you ask to elicit? I will give you 3 minutes to have a think about how to elicit that information. Let's do the first one together, okay? Just make sure that we're on the same page. So, great, we've already had one. How many players in each game, in each team? Sorry. There are, each has 11 players. Perfect, good job. Okay, I will give you now 3 minutes on your own to have a think about that, and we will then have some feedback. You may notice I have just set up the activity and checked the instructions by doing an example. Now we're moving on to the activity stage, and we will then have some feedback. So over to you. I'll give you 3 minutes. Feel free to have a think about each of those questions. If you want to only answer a few, that's fine. I'm sure that between you, we will have them all covered. So how long do you have? Who can tell me in the chat?
อาจารย์สามารถตอบได้เปิดไมค์ตอบได้เลยนะคะหรือว่าอาจจะลงไปในช่องแชทได้นะคะ
How long do you have? How many minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who can type? Go on. Somebody type. Give me a number. How many minutes? Well, I'll tell you. Yes, good. 3 minutes. Great. Okay, you've got 3 minutes starting now. See you in 3 minutes.
ขออนุญาตนะคะอาจารย์ตอนนี้เท่าที่สนดูในกลุ่มของเรามีหลายๆท่านเลยนะคะปิดกล้องถ้าสะดวกนะคะขออนุญาตช่วยเปิดนะคะเพราะว่าเราจะได้เปิดกล้องเป็นเพื่อนกับท่านอาจารย์เจอร์มี่นะคะขอบคุณมากค่ะ
Okay, you have a further minute. 1 minute left, and we'll then have some feedback. Okay, 1 minute left. Thirty seconds. If you're able to count the time with your learners, it helps to motivate them. Of course, it can be 30 teacher seconds. 30 teacher seconds can last 2 minutes. It's up to you. 10 seconds. Okay, great. Let's come back together. So we've already answered each team has 11 players. We said that was how many players? So each team has a goal. What can we say to that? What question can we ask? Each team has a goal. Great. Yes. Or what do you call the thing at the end of the field that has a net? Yes, it's called a goal. Great. Okay. So the idea is to get the ball into the other team's goal. What can we ask for that? Great. How can you score a goal? How do we score in the match? Perfect. And of course, if you're speaking to teenage boys, they probably know this already. How can we win the game? Great. Okay. The team with the most goals wins. Oh yeah, how can you win the game? Okay, great. The person in the goal is called the goalie, and he tries to stop the ball going in the goal. Great, excellent. You could even, of course, you could draw the pitch onto the board, and then you're able to point to the goalie in the net. Excellent question. Who can use their hands to stop the ball? Somebody who knows football rather well. Only the goalie. That actually answers 2 questions, doesn't it? That's great. That would also answer that question. You can only hit the ball with your feet. You could also say, can you hit the ball with your feet? Yes. With your head? Yes. How about your chest? Yes. With your shoulders? Yes. With your hands? No. Who can use their hands? The goalie. Great. The person who polices the match is called the referee. What's the role of the goalie? Good job. That is, of course, a nice open question. What is the role of the goalie? And the learners to explain that, maybe higher level learners. For lower level learners, we might say, who's the person that stops the ball in goal? Goalie. Yeah. Referee then. What question can we ask for referee? Any idea? What question can we ask for referee? Any idea? The referee is the person that controls the game. Great. Okay. Not the goal guardian. The goal guardian is the goalie. But for the game guardian, the person who polices the match, that's the referee. You can also ask about the color of shirt. Who wears a black shirt? The referee. Okay. If you foul or break the rules, you can get a yellow card or a red card. A red card means you leave the game. You are sent off. What question could we ask for that? Any idea? Maybe 2 or 3 questions, yeah? What happens if you break the rules, maybe? Or if you deliberately break the rules? If you trip somebody up? If you knock somebody over? You get a card. There are 2 types of cards. There's a yellow card and a red card. So which card do you get first? The yellow card. And if you get 3 yellow cards, is it 2 or 3? I can't remember. Then you get a red card. Okay, let's move on before the break in 3 minutes. There are a number of eliciting techniques we can use with our learners. Asking questions is just one way of eliciting information from them. There are other techniques such as using a picture or a photo, drawing on the board, prompting on the board. Example, I'm prompting here with my dash, 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 dash. Using gesture, asking learners to speak about a topic. What's your favorite animal? What did you do last night? That practices the past simple. Last night I went to the cinema with my friend. Last night I went to Central Department Store. And of course, direct translation. What is Chang in English? It's an elephant. Okay. Now, after the break, we're going to do this activity here, which is, how would you elicit, draw the following information from your students? So, for example, action movement. Okay, quite a few colleagues are now back in the room. A few are yet to join us. So perhaps we could get the ball rolling, those of you who are here. Let's consider action movie. How could we elicit action movie from our students? Feel free to speak or to chat, whichever you're more comfortable with.
Can I answer?
Please do.
What kind of movie with many action or bombing scenes?
Very good.
Yeah.
If you yeah, good.
Yeah. For my questions, what kind of movie do you like?
Good. That's a good question. So that would then be able to produce many types of movies. Possibly it's a good idea to not use the target language in the question. So if you put the word action into the question, that actually answers the question. So maybe what kind of movie has got lots of bombs and explosions and things going on? Or as you said, can you tell me the type of movies that you like? What movies do you like? Good. Okay. Subject 007. What could we do there? Any idea? Feel free to speak. Anybody? Or to type as you wish. Anybody? How can we elicit subject? What's a simple way of doing that? Good.
Can we show them the poster of the action movies?
Absolutely. Great. Yes. Absolutely. And as also somebody else commented using a picture, that's a very simple way. Okay. The villain then. The baddie as opposed to the goodie. How could we elicit that? A villain, the bad person in the movie. The evil person in the movie. How
A
could
villain
Say again?
who is always trying to be the hero in the movie.
Great. Good. How could we check the concept of the villain? How could we check that our students know who the villain is as opposed to the good guy? Or how that? Any idea? Show them both characters. Good. Could ask who is the villain here? Or we could say, is 007 a villain? No, he's the good guy. Or at least he's the good guy in the movie. Maybe in real life he's the villain. Special effect. How could we elicit special effect?
We can use the picture to compare the special effect right now and in the past, and we can check the understanding of the student about the special effect, like in the movie, like in Star Wars or something.
Yes, absolutely. Great. Good. Good answer. Movie review. How can we elicit movie review? How could we elicit movie review from our learners?
I think we can use Google or something, or any other review in the social media that help the student to learn about to engage the movie review.
Great. Yes, absolutely. And we could also elicit the term critic, film critic. Who is the person that writes about the movie and they say if it is good or bad. The answer, film critic. And what do you call the thing that they write? A movie review, for example. So how can we then use that to elicit to agree or to disagree with someone? Good. What do you like and dislike about this movie? And perhaps we could ask them, do you always agree with the movie review? Yes or no? And then what is the opposite of to agree with the movie review? It is to, and hopefully they'll say disagree, teacher. Great. Okay. Now we are going to watch a video of a teacher eliciting and checking the concept of these words. What techniques does she use? And there's a space if you open up your own document. Hopefully you will have a copy of this for you to complete your notes. Otherwise, just make your notes as you wish. If you cannot hear the video, do not worry, because I will paste a link to the video in chats, and that has gone now. So in case you cannot hear the video, feel free to open it in your own browser. It lasts about 5 minutes, so I'll give you, let's say, about 10 minutes in order to watch the video and to complete your notes. And if you want to watch it in your own browser, then you are able to pause it at your own in your own places. But I will play it here as well. I will turn up the volume, but if you prefer to play it in your own browser, do. So it's now 10:55. I will play the video now, and let's meet again at 11:05 when you have watched the video and you have made some notes on the techniques that the teacher uses to answer the to elicit those words. So you are going to watch a video. How long until we meet again? How many minutes? Please type in the box. Great. And if you cannot hear the video, or if you prefer to play it at your own speed, please click the link. If you have any problems being able to watch the video, please let us know. Okay, so see you in 10 minutes, and I will share the video with you now. Just to let you know, I have increased volume to 100. If it is too loud, please reduce the volume on your own device.
What we're going to do this afternoon is look at a technique that will help introduce vocabulary for us.
ชัดค่ะขอบคุณค่ะอาจารย์
The technique that I'm going to be demonstrating is a listening, and I'll be following up with another technique which is called concept checking. Now these are both really, really important to prepare our students for a reading that we might hand out to them, and to prepare them for a listening. For example, let's start with this. Who likes movies in here? Yeah, you do? Okay, great. Sounds like a few people like movies. So what kinds of movies do people like? Comedy. All right. Good. What's some other types of movies? Drama. Fantastic. Great. So what are some other kinds of movies that people like? Action. Great. Action movies. And this is what I want to talk a little bit more about today, especially one kind of action movie, which is a James Bond movie. Hands up if you've seen a James Bond movie. All right. Good. He's a spy, and he does love spying. What is it? W7. W7, that is right. Good. And what I really like about James Bond movies is that there are good guys and there are bad guys. They fight around. What's another name for the bad guys? Villain? It's a villain, sure. Robin, is James Bond a villain? No. What is he? He's a good guy, exactly. Yeah, can you give me another example of a villain from Disney? Joker from Batman? Excellent. Good, the Joker from Batman. Another thing that I really like about James Bond movies is that people do things like they'll use a shoe for telephone, or you'll see cards flying through the air. And these are called special effects. Good. What's another special effect that you see in a movie? People flying, great. Can you tell me which movie you've seen that in? Matrix. The Matrix, excellent. Now, is it real when they do that? No. No, it's not. It's a special effect. Excellent. When I go and see a movie, sometimes I like to find out a little bit more about it beforehand, and so I read something. What do you think I read? A review. A review, great. Where can we find movies? Newspaper? Newspapers, excellent, good. And some people are really lucky because they have a job which allows them to watch movies and write reviews. What's that job called? Film critic. It's a film critic, great. Where can film critics put their reviews? Magazine or newspaper? Online. Online? Fantastic, good. Sometimes people agree with the reviews that critics write, and sometimes they don't. What is it called when you don't agree with them? Disagree. Disagree. Excellent. So today what we're going to do is we're going to listen to two movie critics talking about a James Bond movie. Their names are Thani and Colin. So let's find out what they thought about the James Bond movie that they watched. Alright, so this is going to be an example of eliciting a concept check. Let's review it to make sure that everybody fully understands what's going on. When we elicit, what we're trying to do is ask questions to see if students are able to give us the vocabulary. And that shows us that they already know it. For example, when I say James Bond has a spy name, what is it? And students respond 007, I'm eliciting that response from them, and it tells me that they already know the answer to that question. The same thing with the villain. We have good guys and we have bad guys. What's another name for the bad guys? When students say the word villain, I know that they know what villain is already. But what usually happens is maybe one or two students will shout out the word that you're looking for. So you need to concept check with the other students to find out if they understand what it is as well. And that's where asking questions like, is James Bond a villain? Is going to show us whether students did in fact understand that a villain is a bad guy. Following up again with a question like, can you tell me another example of a villain? That's where when a student says something like, the Joker, I know that that student has understood what villain means. So eliciting and concept checking are important because if you don't introduce key vocabulary at the beginning of a lesson and make sure that students understand it, you're really not setting them up for success for the rest of the lesson.
Introducing SpeechWorks, the most natural sounding text-to-speech software in the market. Hey, I'm Joey, and I'm one of the
The sound clip and video clip has ended. Mr. Jeremy, please.
Thank you. let me share my screen with you again. So I think for the next video, it's probably better if you share it because it didn't seem to work with me today, which was a pity. Let's go back to this screen. Are you able to see the screen with the worksheet on? Is that okay? Yes? No? Some feedback would be nice. Can you see that? Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. So, action movie. How did she elicit action movie? Great. What kind of movie do you like? As you said before, great. Okay. 007. How did she elicit 007? What did you call it? Great. Spy name. That's a good phrase, isn't it? I hadn't thought of that. Spy name. It's his spy name, 007. A villain. How did she elicit a villain?
What is another name for a bad guy?
Absolutely. Great. And how did she concept check villain? She asked a question. Who wants to answer? How did she check the concept to ensure that the learners understand what villain means? She asked a question. What was that? Exactly. Is James Bond a villain? The answer is no. He's the good guy. Okay. Special effects. How did she elicit special effect? How did she elicit special effect? You remember? Good. Yes.
What technique does this movie use?
Yes, absolutely. Good. Excellent. Movie review. How did she elicit movie review? Movie review. How did she elicit that?
How do you know about this movie?
Great. And then how did she elicit to agree or to disagree with someone?
Do you like it?
Yep, that's a possibility. Or I think she said, do you always agree with movies or the movie review? And then what is the opposite of agree? To agree with someone, the learners probably say disagree. And then you could say sentence and they say to disagree with someone. And you could write on the board to disagree with someone. Okay, great. Moving on then. How would you elicit the following language from your students? London, happy, elephant, Saturday, chopsticks, would you like to come to my party? So I'll give you 3 minutes on your own, have a little brainstorm. If you have any colleagues near you, feel free to speak to them as well. And let's have a little brainstorm on how you could elicit the following language from your learners. Let's do the first one together. So, London, how would you elicit London?
What is the capital of England?
Good. Another possibility is to show a picture of Big Ben and say, where's this? And they'll say,
and
London.
the place where Queen Elizabeth II lived.
Ah, very true. Though that could be Windsor as well. Okay, great. So, London, happy, elephant, Saturday, chopsticks, and would you like to come to my party? I'll give you 3 minutes to think how you could elicit them. Okay, colleagues, let's come back into the room. So, we've already said how we would elicit London by asking a question or showing a photo. How would you elicit happy?
How do you feel when you succeed?
Okay, yeah. Could you draw a picture on the board? This is Dave. How is Dave feeling? Happy. How is Dave feeling? Sad.
Or maybe that we show the picture of the emoticon which is smiling.
Very good. Very good. Elephant. Kang. How can we elicit elephant? And that's the animal, not the beer.
Maybe we can ask the question, what animal is the symbol of Thailand?
Very good. It's also the symbol of the Department of Land's Transportation, I noticed when I go on the BTS. Excellent. Saturday. How can we elicit Saturday?
What days come after Friday?
Good. Excellent. Or which 2 days are at the weekend? Saturday and Sunday. Good. Chopsticks.
Well, do we need to eat Chinese food?
Good. Yes, absolutely. Or we could even show chopsticks. So that could also be scissors as well, couldn't it? And tricky one. Would you like to come to my party? How could we elicit that? This might need a bit more planning. This is actually a lesson I got from a very good teacher in Vietnam. He taught me this lesson. You get a piece of paper and you ask the students to turn it into landscape. And then on the paper, they have to fold it and fold it and fold it. So you basically got 8 squares. They then create 8 squares, and in 7 squares, they write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then on 3 days, they have to put into the diary, put in an appointment. So it could be on the Monday, they have to go to the doctor. On the Wednesday, they're seeing their friend for lunch, and on Friday, they're going to the cinema. And each person would choose on their calendar as to which days they have an appointment. And then you tell the students that they are holding a party for their birthday. And they have to go around the class and they have to invite people to their party. So what do you say? and you ask the students. So you have a little role play. So I pretend to be a student, and the student is having a party, and they say, you want to come to my party? Okay, great. Or you could say, and gradually they will say, would you like to come to my party? When is your party? It's on Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry. On Saturday, I'm seeing my mother for lunch. Or would you like to come to my party? When is your party? It's on Thursday evening. Oh, yes, thank you. I would. And you're then able to write in the 8 box all the names of the people who can make the party. And you can then have your activity where the learners go around inviting each other to their parties, and then you can have your feedback. So who's having a party on Monday? Hands up. Who's coming to your party? And that's able to elicit, would you like to come to my party? Through a situation role play. It takes a little bit more planning, but it can be done. Right, let's briefly move on to feedback, shall we? So, what is feedback? Well, feedback happens at the end of a lesson or activity. Read the following statements about feedback. Which do you agree with? And now you can put either agree or disagree in the chat box. Okay, so learners expect feedback. It tells them if they have completed a task successfully or not. Do you agree or disagree? Agree? Okay, feedback can be motivating. Often answers to an exercise are actually a test and encourages learners to participate. Wait. Feedback acts as a good signpost, often signaling the end of a task or a lesson. Great. Feedback helps learning. Learners are made aware of the mistakes and why they have made them. Lovely. And of course, the more mistakes they make, the more progress they make. So it's important to have a nice, safe, supportive environment in which learners feel they can make mistakes. And lastly, feedback helps teaching. Teachers can often see where the learners are having problems and what needs to be, apologies for the typo, what needs to be retaught or repaired. We agree with that as well. Great. So feedback, oops, I apologize. Feedback strategies then. Some feedback techniques are teacher-centered. Example, the teacher asks a student the answers to an exercise. And some are student-centered. Example, students come to the board and write one answer each. Look at the following techniques and in your mind, place them on the chart according to how teacher-centered or student-centered they are. So if you think it's teacher-centered, maybe you can put into the chat TTT. If you think it's very student-centered, you could write SSS. If it's fairly teacher-centered, you can maybe write TTS. If it's fairly student-centered, you can write SST. And if it's halfway, you can write TS or ST. How's that? So, teacher questions, learner answers in any order. Is that teacher-centered or student-centered or somewhere in between? What do you think? Teacher-centered, I agree. Peer checking. Learners comment on each other's answers and strong learners are paired with weaker ones. Absolutely student-centered. Learners take the role of the teacher and check answers. Yeah, student-centered, absolutely. Answers are provided on the back of the worksheet or on a slide on the board. Yeah, it's a bit teacher-centered, isn't it? Absolutely. Because the teacher is providing the answers. Learners choose another learner, give answers. Great, I quite agree. It's all in the chat box, colleagues. Student-centered. Learners are given a text containing all the answers. Yeah, teacher-centered, for the teacher again providing the answers. Learners choose a number and write their answer on the board. Student-centered, I agree. And lastly, learners are put into teams and compete for points given for a correct answer. I think it's kind of partly student-centered, partly teacher-centered, isn't it? Because the students decide the answer and they compete with each other, not really competing with the teacher. I think we already know the advantages of student-centered feedback. It puts the students in control. It is enabling them to help each other. And it's increasing student speaking and student listening and student interaction. Also, it's real language. They're actually providing answers. They actually have a real purpose to communicate. It isn't the same as if they're just making a comment about a picture, which people don't normally do in real life. They're actually engaging in a real task, problem solving, which is what we do all the time in the real world. Now, we are going to observe some teaching. And what I will do this time, I won't play it. I will put the link into the comments. And I encourage you to watch this on your own, okay? If that's okay with everyone. Do we have a thumbs up there? Is that okay? Great. So just copy and paste this into your own browser, Chrome, Firefox, Explorer, whatever you use, and it should open up a YouTube page. Turn on the volume and you're able to watch it at your own pace. I think that is probably the answer to that. If the technical team would like to open it in their own window and to take control of this session to do so, feel free. Otherwise, I will leave it for you to do this. So you are going to watch a teacher demonstrate the activity cycle. Remember those 4 stages? So answer the questions below. 1, what are those 4 stages of the lesson? 2, what techniques does the teacher use to give instructions? 3, how does the teacher check their instructions? 4, what does the teacher do when they are monitoring? And 5, what feedback techniques do you observe? Are they teacher-centered or are they student-centered? Now, this video will take about 5 minutes. I'm pasting the link now in your chat box. If you click on that, it should open up in YouTube. And yes, is that okay?
Yeah, I will turn on the YouTube for everyone to share the screen right now.
That's great.
Let's take a look.
Okay, great. So I will see you in 10 minutes, okay? See you in 10 minutes at 11:43. Feel free to take control.
I have 2 different pictures. Well, I have 2 pictures. In each picture there are 6 the pictures.
Can everyone can see the screen?
I cannot see it.
No, at the moment, yes. Okay, excellent. I can now.
I have 2 different pictures. Well, I have 2 pictures. In each picture there are 6. The pictures are very, very similar, but there are some small differences. What I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to give A, one of the pictures. I'm going to give B, other picture. I'm going to ask you with your partner to find 10 differences in each picture. The differences are going to be big differences or small differences? Small differences. You're not going to show your partner. Let's discuss with your partner. try to find those. So just as an example, so Nene, would you mind helping? You are B. So I'm A. Okay. There you go. So for example, Nene can help me. So Nene, in the first picture, I can see a woman and she has long curly hair. Yes. Okay, so we can't wonder this. But I show you my picture. So I'll both pictures say. How many? Can you show your partner picture? So how are you going to find the difference? Yes. You're going to speak to your partner. You guys. You may begin. Okay, everyone, don't worry if you're not 100% finished. Let's check the answers together. David, tell us about one of the business. Marine, tell us about the second person. Okay, guys. Well done, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, the video clip has ended. Miss Jeremy, please.
Hello, yes, Zoe? Say again? I didn't hear what you said, I'm afraid. There appears to be an issue there. It's a bit slow and it isn't clear. So I propose that for colleagues, if they want to open it up in their own browser, yeah? And then to watch it on your own computers. That will be clearer for you, because I think we have a speed issue in terms of the connection there from the shared one. So if I can open up the chat again, if you want to have a look at the link there, if you can press the link, please, and if you can watch it at your own pace. And we will meet in 5 minutes at 11:45. Okay? Is that clear? Give me a thumbs up if that's clear.
Yeah. Excuse me, Mr. Jeremy. Could you please bring your microphone a little bit closer?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, colleagues, if you can click on the link, please. And if you can watch it in your own time, I think it will be clearer for you, because there was a connection speed issue in that shared recording. I couldn't understand it, and I'm a native speaker.
Excuse me, Teacher
So,
Jeremy.
do not be
Actually,
concerned if you couldn't. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I think Teacher Ekachai already showed us all from his monitor.
Okay.
So we're done with that, I
Okay.
think.
So
Thank you.
fine. So then, if I can take back control, then if I share my screen, great. So teacher talk and classroom management. Thank you. So, what are the 4 stages then of the lesson that you observed? Instructions. Yes, she asked them instructions. So what
Introduction,
technique? Yes, and an introduction. Good to create.
activities, feedback, wrap up.
Good, perfect. Could you say it again slower, please?
Oh, yes. Introduction, activities, feedback, wrap up.
Great. And in the activity stage, the teacher did what? What did the teacher do in the activity stage? Did she sit at her desk and do nothing? Yes, she monitored. Good. So, what techniques does a teacher use to give instructions? What does she do? Your students decide how to elicit these words and check their meaning. Then design an activity for your students that will let them practice the new vocabulary. Write the instructions you will give your students in English to set up the activity. Write information checking questions to check their understanding of those instructions. How will you monitor the activity? What language will you use at this stage? And how will you feedback at the end of the activity? Is this feedback student-centered or teacher-centered?
อันนี้ปกติที่ทำนะถ้าจบเซสชั่นเนี่ยจะมีตัวแทนครูกล่าวขอบคุณวิทยากรสอนอนุเอาหรอ
Hello? Is that part of the instructions, or was that somebody having a conversation? So, those are your instructions. Perhaps for the facilitators, could you just briefly summarize the instructions in Thai for me, just to make sure that we're all okay? Okay, never mind. So you are going to design your own activity, okay? Choosing 4 words. Are there any questions, or are we okay with that? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay. Looking for thumbs up. Any thumbs ups? Any thumbs down? Okay, so you've got 5 minutes to think about how you might do this, okay? 5 minutes, go. Finish the task in their own time. So could I just confirm the plan for the afternoon in terms of the schedule, please? Kun Amanlat, are you able to confirm the plan for the afternoon, please?
In case one of us finish after this, could you resend to you again in the afternoon session?
Yes, indeed, absolutely. So what
Okay.
time are we to be training in the afternoon?
Okay.
We come back at
the channel that the teacher who finished the activity. Any one of us that you can send your assignment through PLC English teacher group line.
Yeah, that will be good.
Okay ครับตอนนี้มีอาจารย์ท่านใดที่ activity เสร็จเรียบร้อยแล้วไหมครับอาจารย์ครับอาจารย์สามารถแชร์ได้เลย
ทดสอบค่ะได้ยินเสียงไหมคะ
ครับได้ยินนะครับผมเรียนเชิญครับอาจารย์ครับ
ค่ะขออนุญาตแชร์นะคะไม่แน่ใจว่าถูกต้องไหมนะคะ
ครับผม
ค่ะ so number one I decide to choose 4 words it include romantic comedy science fiction and horror so we are going to talk about the types of the movie and then number 2 the way that I want to elicit this word to my student like I will ask about what can you see in romantic movies? So some student might answer they will find love story or the scene that the man and the woman kissing, something like that. So the student will try to explain the correct characteristic of the movie in number 2. And then number 3, the activity that I want them to practice the word, I will put them into 4 groups and let them work together in order to explain the characteristic and give the example of the movie. Maybe 5 movies for each categories, romantic, comedy, science fiction, and horror. And then number 4, the instruction that I will give to my student, like I will ask them, what is your favorite type of movie? Or why do you like this type of movie? Or sometimes I will check their understanding by asking, I will show them some poster and I will ask them, is this movie a horror movie or whatever? And then for number 5, I will monitor my students, monitor the activity by walking around and check their understanding again by show them some pictures and let them match the picture, the poster of the movie into their groups and try to seek for their participation and collaboration. And then the last one, number 6, for the feedback, I will let the student present their work in front of the class and then let the student in other groups share their opinion toward their friend's presentation. That's it.
Very good. Thank you. Very good plan. Right. Our final thing, if we go back to our worksheet, if you have a look at the top, we have got the learning checklist. You can do this in your own time, but hopefully by the end of this session, which we're now at, you are able to tick all 4 boxes. Right, colleagues, that is the end of this workshop. Thank you for your interest and your participation. It's been a pleasure to work with you. I will now hand over to the facilitators to conclude this session. Thank you. Kopen Kap, Sawadee Kap.
Okay, Kap. Before we go to have lunch at the lunch break, may I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Palok Raksa, teacher in the High School, to be the volunteer teacher to say thank you and wrap up what we can this morning session to the audience. Please, Dr. Palok.
Hello, dear Mr. Henshaw and everyone. As a representative of our group, and since we have learned several interesting ideas from you, it's increased our awareness to help the student to learn by eliciting technique that we use to help the student to construct their own knowledge by themselves. This is our wonderful time to be with you to be with a specialist as your trainee today. And I'm thankful for your support. And finally, please accept our thanks for today. Thank you very much.
ครับขอบคุณดร.พลบครับครับเชิญสน.ครับผม
ค่ะขอบพระคุณท่านดร.พลลบนะคะเดี๋ยวในช่วงบ่ายขออนุญาตนัดแนะนะคะนัดหมายนะคะในช่วงบ่ายเดี๋ยวเราจะกลับมาห้องเดิมนี่แหละค่ะแต่ว่าเราจะได้ไปอยู่ในเซสชั่นของอาจารย์ต่อวิราชค่ะก็เดี๋ยวหลังจากรับประทานอาหารนะคะก็จะมีลิงก์ลงทะเบียนในช่วงบ่ายให้นะคะอาจารย์ก็รบกวนลงทะเบียนด้วยนะคะก็ตอนนี้ก็ถึงเวลาที่จะได้รีแลกซ์กันแล้วนะคะขอบคุณมากๆค่ะในความร่วมมือในทุกๆเรื่องนะคะขอบคุณค่ะเดี๋ยวเชิญทานข้าวนะคะแล้วเดี๋ยวเจอกันในช่วงบ่ายค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะ
ขอบคุณทุกท่านครับ
So welcome back to the afternoon session. We're going to have about 1 hour and 15 minutes together, and we are also going to decide something that we expect and we wish that we could do together as well. Let's have a look at this one for the that's I'm here. So this is a good learning opportunity that we had a chance to learn together, even like it's a short times, like one day. But the thing is how we're going to work together. Today, mainly we're going to open the opportunity everyone that can share, or even like we can learn something from our experience base. And also I'm going to give some input that I get from the SOPATOR lately about how we doing or design the classroom activity to be more active and related to like a CFR preparation for the student. And mainly it's going to relies on your teaching perspective. And we're going to discuss about like a terminologies from Kahoot, and then we're going to ask you to think about how we can adapt some activities together. Let me share now. 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is the workshop that we're talking about, the opportunities to everyone that we're going to share, and then we have some idea to exchange. And don't forget that the idea that we base on our discussion, we can adapt, and then we can have it used in our classroom. Depends on your perspective or level of your student, and even depends on your the ways of your training as well. This morning we're talking about the getting to know, and then how we also think about like some kind of activity that we can encourage the student to use English more. And then this is the last one, number 4. Look at here, the competency-based curriculum or active learning based on the activity-based learning, ABL, which is we're going to have more today. And the agenda of this one in the evening, before we leaving, it's going to bring it all together. We probably like considers about how we can improve our language based on the thing here. I'm not sure that you can see it clearly. Yes or no? Can you see it clearly?
Yes.
No? Right. So also the way before we go ahead first, we also like mention that make it bold like who we are and what we do as a teacher. Do you really teach your student with the thing that you're skillful or not? And you really teach them or helping them learning better to their futures or not? And then this is the question that I would raise it to everyone who working with us, how we work it, right? So let's see some indicators here to every teachers as a single teacher, even me as a trainer, I always consider myself, am I confident enough to do things? So when we're talking about confident, what are we confident? There are 2 things. What are we confident in? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. TikTok. No. No again. Right. So when we're talking about you're confident, we're talking about like you're confident in teaching English, right? Or English proficiencies. You're using English or not? How much do you use it with the student? And how much do they really understand when you use English? And also, we're talking about your perspective of teaching. What kind of approach or process or even like a idea you teach? Maybe you use like a task-based learning. Maybe you use like a project-based learning, problem-based learning, or like an inquiry method. This is the way that you choose. Depends on your perspective and you're specialized in something. Let's have a look on teaching. When we're talking about the teaching, you're lucky that you meet Atan Jeremy before this morning. He talked a lot about how you teach, right? So when you teach, we thinking about like are you really good at lesson planning? What else? Number 2, managing lesson. What else? Yeah, the subject knowledge. Great. And also that nowadays in the teaching, we're also talking about micro teaching. So micro is something that you can have a look or even observe your help with your partner. Thinking back in your communities at your school, you are not alone in the universe. We have communities. Not only you working for your student, we have a partnership like a supervisors and also the director, as well as your colleagues at the department. But if you become coming from the big school, you have at least 20, I guess. 20 colleagues. That's mean more than 20 ideas you can use. Why not? We sometimes talking about that, hey, I can do micro teachings and have a look and then can you give some feedback to me or not? Let's back to the classroom language, right? So this is the key performance of the teacher. When you do an English classes, do you give instruction in English? How much do you check your understanding with the student in English? Checking instruction, question, and also you really modeling the language with the pronunciation correctly or not? If not, why not use Google? If not, why not you use Adan Wanna to help the pronunciation better, right? Even like look at modeling target language. So this is the key performance of indicators of when we are the teachers, we're thinking about that. I am doing on that things or not, right? So the aim to develop the methodologies and also talking about yourself, we starting from getting who we are and know yourself first. Look at here, if you see the template, you could see that we have 2 stars and a wish. Dun, dun. Right. 2 star and a wish. So I now would love to show you about what your strengths is. Just 2 things. And what is your wish? Something that you want to learn more from this previous month. This month, sorry. We don't think about like academic year, but by this month and next month. What are you good at? What are you now going to change yourself? Let's getting to know about 1, 2 star and 1 wish, right? So can you help me thinking about yourself, the star and the wish that you prefer? Use the chat Zoom writing about what are you good at, and use the Zoom chat as well talking about 1 wish, right? So have a look at my wish here. Right. So this is my stars or my strengths. I am Tor. I am good at listening. You and I can understand the language of speaking from podcasts and even TED Talk. I always listen to them every day, right? And now the second star. I'm really confident in teaching English. And I would love to use what I know to share among our communities, not only in Ubon Ratchathani, but from the different countries or different cities all over the world. One wish that I would love you, I would like to expand my communities, right? So I have about 33 communities all over the world that I work in, but I want to expand more communities, which is I could learn from them, right? This is my wish. So are you chatting in the Line group or Zoom chat? Are you writing in the Zoom chat or the Line group?
Zoom chat.
Great. How many stars for you? How many stars that you're writing? TikTok, TikTok, TikTok.
In
How
the
many
chat.
stars? 2 stars. How many wishes? One wish, right? So now you have 2 minutes to write down something here, and I also write mine in the Zoom chat already. You can have a look as the sample, right? Yes, this is I sending it to you now. Please now everyone in 2 minutes write about your expectation, your stars and your wish. ขอเวลา2 นาทีนะครับให้เพื่อนๆทุกคนเขียน stars and a wish เกี่ยวกับตัวเองใน Zoom chat ของเราครับผมลองเขียนของตัวเองไปแล้วนะครับ Let's have a look. You have 2 minutes 2 นาทีครับ I wait and see that how many of you can join us, please. 2 นาทีครับ Tell me how many people writing back replied. Can you hear me? Count. How many people writing replied from our how many? 7 or 6? Oh, we have coming Sirirat. Thank you. Right. So let's have a look at that one. I really like Ajahn Orawan, right? So I like her ideas because Ajahn Orawan have something in common with me. She said that she's good at listening skill, and I think that I like her idea because she's thinking about how to use technologies in her class, and I love that what she said that she wished you could help something better for her students to use English in their career for the future as well. This is very impressed to me, Ajahn Orawan. Thank you very much. Ajahn Orawan, can you mention one message that you think that you like a lot? Ajahn Orawan, please.
I'm sorry, what kind of message do you mean?
Your friend's message. Which friend's message that you think I like it? Like your, but who do you like? Not like me, nah?
Okay, let me find some for now because I couldn't go through all right now. Well, as I can see now, I think from teacher Wasana Bukel Keson, I suppose, her listening skill is better, she said, because she always practice from YouTube and movies, which is, I do that the same. As her.
All right. So you practice via YouTube as well and movie?
Yes.
Right. What kind of movie do you watch?
Well, when I was young, I watched a lot of cartoons, especially Disney cartoons. And yeah, and then when I grew up, and then I watched a lot of movies. You know, like Iron Man, the Marvels kind of movies like that.
So, Arawan, thank you very much for sharing from Wasana. Wasana, now your turn. So it's going to be continue, right? Wasana, what do you think? That's whose idea that you really like a lot? Please share with us. อาจารย์วาสนาอย่าหัวเราะสิครับไปเลยครับ Whose idea from your friend that you like a lot, please?
Teacher Vitya.
Okay. Can you give a little bit background? What's the reasons behind why you like อาจารย์วิทยา?
She said practice myself by copying the speeches for beauties pregnant.
Mm-hmm. So you said that you like that the ideas of practice via the speech, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Offline.
So let's hear from Ajahn Vitya before we end this activity. Ajahn Vitya, come on. I will end up with yours. Which of the message of our people here that you like a lot? Please tell us.
Please give me some time, so I will choose one.
No worry. Not 1 hour, nah?
Okay. So this one, I like Dr. Ponrop's idea.
Can you tell us what's the reason behind, please?
He's talking about he was trained how to plan the lesson to help students think critically by using English as a tool. So I think it's quite very interesting idea because sometimes we feel so struggle a lot when we have to create the lesson plans by our own selves. So I think if we have the new interesting idea, so I think I will be benefits our student in terms of learning English in the classroom. What is that?
That's the voice that I can make. Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Actually, we could move on to Dr. Ponrop, right? Ball, right? The Dr. Ball, right? But we end up in activities here, and then I'm going to the feedback of our classes, right? Have a look at here. We got a 2-star and a wish, and we just finished. And then the skill that we practice. What are the skill that we practice? Can you help me, anyone here, please? What are the skill that we practiced from the 2-star and a wish? We have 4 skills, right? Writing, reading, listening, speaking. From a previous activity, 2 stars and a wish. How many skills and what are they that we practice? Tick tock, help me, please.
Writing and speaking.
4 skills speaking.
So I'm no clue that we practice writing because it's clearly that everyone need to write. Even we have not all student writing, but within the times limited, we can create the space for the one that he can share or thinking about themselves to others. Writing for sure. And what else that we practice? Do we practice speaking?
Yes, speaking.
How?
Like impromptu speech.
All right. So we practice from the opinion that you think that you like the ideas of the people or not, right? Why, and you give the reasons behind. So you can think about it, this impromptu. Thank you. What else that we practice?
Reading.
Oh, we practice the reading. How? I don't understand. Why you practice the reading?
So we have to read the other's idea that they shared in the chat box.
Great job. Do you think that you practice listening as well?
Yes, because we have to listen to their presentation.
I wish everyone listened to us. I wish ผมปรารถนาให้ทุกคนฟังเหมือนที่คุณฟังมากๆ Right. So how many minutes that we practiced a minute ago? From the minutes that we stopped. 10, 15 minutes? Which one? What do you think? Do you think that we practice 10 or 15 minutes? Feel free to answer, no worry. Even you can tap on the chat. I can wait and see. No worry. You even you don't want. Oh, okay, that's coming. Right. So someone have said that 10 to 20 minutes. Cool. All right. Then I will think about the language that the student use. So thinking about the topic, right? So it's personal detail. Is that right? So personal details about expectation and something that they want to improve. And what else that they practice here from the fundamental language that they use? Present simple, past simple, future tense. What kind of language that the student practice? You have
Conditional
any?
sentence.
Can you give an example? Can you give an example of the sentence that you said, mention a minute? Right. I wish to, something like this. I wish you could. Right. So what kind of something that we call here? What type of grammar? What is the name of it? What's your expectation? Do you think that we use present simple or past simple? What do you think?
Present simple use subjunctive mood.
All right, present simple and subjunctive. Thank you very much. Let's go to the point. And subjunctive. I hope everyone understands what is subjunctive, because I don't really want to explain here what is it about. So subjunctive, what about the resources that we use, the material? Do we use technology, right? Writing. What kind of program that we use?
Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom chat. So your student or even the teachers here need to manipulate, need to know about how to use this one. If you don't know, a Tantor, it's difficult for me. I don't know about to type in a Zoom chat. So do you think that it could relate to real life activities? So yes or no, that this could happen every day or someday that they can find it at work, or even find it in the school, or even find it when they going to university. Do you think this could relate to real life activities?
Yes.
Explain a little bit. Yes, for sure. Yes. How?
So students can practice about talking about their experience and about their future plan in the future. So we can practice them with the presentation skills, so that will be useful for them in any level, secondary or any upper level.
So we're talking about the different level, give personal data information. So
Yes.
what kind of situation that they use? You mentioned about a key presentation. Why they need to keep the presentation to tell about yourself? What kind of situation?
What kind of situation? For example, like when you study in the university as a freshman, like you have to introduce yourself in order to get to know your friends, so you can talk about your personal information and gain some information from others, so that can help you get closer easily.
Yes, this is a very good, right? So when you can I relate more first year at university, right? Love this one, university. What about when you go to the company? If your students finish or graduate in Mathematics 3 or Mathematics 6, if they have a chance to recruit working in the company that they use English, right? So you can refer to your experience, right? and your interest for job applications, right? For job application. So when you talk these topic อาจารย์ครับผมจบแล้วนะครับถ้าอาจารย์ตอบแบบนี้ได้ผมสามารถ relate ได้เลยว่าคุณครูหลายท่านที่อยู่ที่นี่เข้าใจวิธีการจัดการเรียนรู้อย่างกระจ่างชัด So it's not about teaching language, it's about teaching what they're going to use and how they're going to use in the different situation, right? If you're still teaching the language or the grammar, it's the same thing that we have been through 50 years ago, 20 years ago when I was a child, not a kid in Mathayom 3, Mathayom 4, I learned something like this. We have to pass the grammar test, but we never talking about how we can change our classroom to help the student to get a job, to help the student to write an email talking about themselves, to ask the student to do the recording in a TikTok, and then they can give the information and ask the job or the boss, hey, have a look, this is my previous data. You can have a look via the link, and then you can see that we now create the tool of using. So now we're thinking about the language is not the language at all or the subject, but it's the language is a tool of doing something further. And then we thinking about the competency. ถ้าแบบนี้ได้อาจารย์จะคิดถึง competency แล้วครับถ้าแบบนี้ได้อาจารย์จะสอน skill based lesson แล้วครับ This is how we design our classroom, right? But again, when you design classroom, we're thinking about stages, right? As you know that we list before, I asked a lot of questions. Then one of you, two of you here try to answer me, and then I appreciate a lot because you know what I did. Now let's go. What is the first stage that I did? จำได้ไหมครับว่ากิจกรรมเมื่อกี้ที่ให้คุณเขียน the two star and one wish คุณครูต่อ teacher ต่อ trainer ต่อเขาทำอะไรบ้างในขั้นแรกๆครับ try more TikTok Do you remember พี่สมชายอย่าเกาหัวนะครับผมถ้าพี่สมชายเกาหัวผมก็จะเกาไปเรื่อยๆ
Sorry.
ล้อเล่นนะครับพี่สมชาย no worry just like you are with us I really appreciate that ผมขอบคุณมากคุณสามารถพูดเป็นภาษาไทยก็ได้นะครับครูคนไหนพูดเป็นไทยก็ได้ you try talking or communicate with me in Thai I understand Thai อีสาน and as well English a little bit Japanese
We play games at first, right?
What games?
Guess the country.
โอ้ตัวนั้นเป็นอีกเซสชันหนึ่งครับตัวนั้นเป็นอีกเซสชันหนึ่งครับตัวนั้นเป็นเซสชันใหญ่ครับตอนนี้เรามาในกลุ่มของเราครับ
Ice breaking.
Yeah, it could be ice breaking, right? Before we starting something new, it could be like we can say this activity. It's 10 to 15 minutes. It's like ice break. But how I did, ผมทำยังไงบ้างลองไล่มาให้เจอนะครับเดี๋ยวเราจะเจอขั้นของการสอนที่น่าสนใจหรือแม้กระทั่งครูคนไหนเฮ้ยต่อลองแก้ให้ดีกว่านี้ได้ไหมลักษณะนี้เดี๋ยวเราจะมาดูกันครับ So what is the first stage that I did?
You show your 2 stars and 1 wish.
So we say that illicit, right?
Yeah.
ผมถามนิดนึงครับมีคนพอที่จะรู้ไหมครับว่า 2 stars and 1 wish illicit นี่คืออะไรครับผมต้องถามแล้วนะฮะ What is illicit?
Trying to gain some background knowledge from the student without telling them the information.
โอ้น้องวิทยาน้องตอบตามหนังสือแบบเป๊ะทุกอย่างเลย แล้วก็แบบความเข้าใจใน methodology ของหนูสูงมากผมชื่นชมมากนะครับ so we instead of we telling them we asking them and their background knowledge it could help a lot ผมไม่ได้บอกเลยนะว่า two star คืออะไรแต่ผมถามทุกคนแล้วทุกคนก็ค่อยๆถามมาเรื่อยๆห้องเรียนเราก็จะเป็นอย่างนี้ครับห้องเรียน50คนเราก็จะมีนักเรียน 3-4 คน they're trying to be with us they can engage with us and then more After elicit, what did I do?
Encourage students to use the idea.
Right. Before that, what did I do?
You ask the question to confirm about the task that students have to do.
All right.
Like how many stars or how
Yeah,
many
I give instructions to do something, right? And then what do I do next?
You give us some time to
write.
prepare our answer, to write the information and type and post in the chat box.
So we have thinking time. But before thinking time, what did the teacher do in the chat box? คุณครูทำอย่างหนึ่งก่อนที่นักเรียนจะเขียนด้วยครับ
Demonstration.
Yeah, demonstrate.
Yeah.
The teacher writing, right?
In my opinion, I think it's the teacher check understanding from the student all the time. They talk to the student.
Right. So I can say that give instruction and check their understanding. Right. Thank you very much. That will add more detail. Right. Right. Demonstrate teacher writing. Where do the student write? In Zoom chat, right? And then now we see that from 50 students or 52 students at that time, we probably have only 3, 7, 8, 11 students writing. Then we have the limitations of the learning ability. We see that they may a lot of students that they cannot really use the Zoom chat. So they probably have the issues on their internet as well. So this is our predictions, right? So after the student write, what did they do? What does the teacher do?
Let student criticize.
Yeah, we said give feedback.
Feedback.
Right? Right. So we give feedback to the student in the different thing, right? We call content feedback. Content feedback. We call give press. Right. Give press. Give feedback on content feedback. What else? One thing that you know, feedback on language, right? Feedback on the language, whether they correct or not. So this is the 4 stages, which is within 4. Do you have any word or do you have anything that you want me to clarify before I move on? มีคำไหนที่ teacher อยากให้ผมพูดถึงหรือทำความเข้าใจก่อนที่ผมจะเข้าไปได้ไหมครับ? Any word or any expression that you want me to clarify?
Oh, can I share? Hello. Can I share a little bit? I think giving feedback, we can we have two ways to think. The first one is positive, right? And the second one is negative. If we use the word reflect, I think it is better than feedback.
All right. So give feedback or reflection. Yeah, reflection.
Yeah.
I like the word as well. Right. Give feedback or reflect on their work. Thank you very much. That's the good term. Not the question. So we reflect on the productions of the student, right? What else, please?
Conclusion. Conclusion.
Yeah, in conclusion. Thank you very much. in the giving feedback, we call it could be one of the conclusion stages, right? Okay. This is we call conclusion. Thank you very much. This is the big word. Here is the idea of the work toward one activities only. But what about like you're thinking about how you're going to change your class, right? We need something bigger. We need something bigger, which is could be like a communicative language approach, which is could be the language teaching methodologies that you probably don't know, and also how you're going to teach them when they are starting to write something or reading something, how you're going to manage the class when you're talking about teaching grammar for the level of the test to the student who really start to do the examination. This is could be one crucial question. Now I wish that I could bring you to the next activity. Do you have your mobile phone that you can use, right? I'm going to take you to the Kahoot, talking about some activities teaching for success. Can some now of you please join our Kahoot activities? ขออนุญาตเชิญชวนอาจารย์ทุกท่านลองเล่น Kahoot ส่วนคนที่เล่นไม่ได้เพราะว่ามีอุปกรณ์อันเดียวสามารถใช้การตอบผ่าน Zoom chat ได้นะครับ You can answer via the Zoom chat. Are you ready to start the Kahoot? Shall we? So, what do you think? Is it true or false? Is it true or false? Competency, right? Thinking about the competencies. นั่นคือคำว่าสมรรถนะนะครับคุณครูครับ This is about like a competency. So when you state about the aims of the communicative language teaching, we final aim is about like help them to talk better, reading better, and also can write and can listening the different resource in the world, even in the global language. So competencies สมรรถนะในด้านการสื่อสารพูดถึงการใช้ภาษาในเรื่องทักษะทั้ง4ทักษะหรือมากไปกว่านั้นอย่างเช่นการคิดวิเคราะห์การใช้การแก้ปัญหาหรือการใช้ด้านเทคโนโลยีเขาเรียกว่า communicative competence and the other competence as well ขอบคุณมากนะครับ let's go โอเคพี่สุวิมลเร็วมากฉันชื่นชมคารวะ let's go next one number 2 all right it's true right so anyone can tell me that we not only focus on fluency what else that we focus we have 2 things
Accuracy.
great job เจ๋งมากครับ correct so we have fluency and accuracy when we're starting to help them to become confident normally we're talking about like using fluencies more but we're talking about how they become the best or better or perfect in English using accurately we're thinking about accuracies ถูกเยอะครับโอ้ยอาจารย์พอลเลอร์มีการล้มแชมป์ไปแล้วนะครับสุวิมลลงมาที่3 Thank you that's great come on so when you're thinking about การสื่อสาร That's it. Very good. So I probably agree with the red one, right? But the memorization is not a proficiency, right? It's just the beginning of the learning that you're understanding something, right? Proficiencies of the language it's gained by the different thing, not only 2 things, right? So, but we're talking about the communicative approach, which is integrated เหมือนกิจกรรมเมื่อกี้ครับ to style and one which we integrate not only listening not only reading but writing and speaking Okay, this is the skill that we practice, and we know that we not use or teaching them only one skill alone to become the better competencies, right? ทานโหไม่เปลี่ยนแปลงครับอุ๊ยเปลี่ยนนะครับ let's go teacher role. Let's have a look at the teacher's role. What do you think? Familiar with the terms of facilitator, so the helper, the supporter to help the student, right? They need help when they start to speak the language or use the language, and then you need to help them and encourage them as the facilitator, bring about their communications level in the classroom. Thank you. โอ้คุณอาจารีคุณหัวไฟเย้ยอาจารีขอเสียงหน่อยไม่มี right okay what is CCQ okay my goodness I think that teacher Jeremy talking about this okay that's one answers here อาจารย์อาจารีให้ค่ะ you can answer this one เพื่อนๆที่ไม่สามารถใช้ Kahoot ได้สามารถตอบใน Zoom chat ได้ครับ right so concept check question all right we hang a little bit on this topic how you can what and how you can do the concept checking anyone can help me what and how we can do the concept checking question tick tock tick something when you teach something already or learning something with them instead of you telling them you ask the question right to check whether they understanding or not right okay in terms of or I would like to ask you about what else the 2-star and 1 wish okay thank you Vasana so you recheck the understanding the getting concept by question very good ขอบคุณมากครับแค่นี้แหละไม่มีปัญหา you can answer via the Zoom chat or when talking to me right so ขอบคุณมากครับคิดว่าคำตอบของอาจารย์วัฒนาเป็นหนึ่งในคำตอบที่ดีเลยแหละขอบคุณครับ let's go concept checked question right วิทยา very good ประภัสสอนขึ้นมาแล้วมาจากไหนเนี่ย and วิทยา welcome right คุณสุวิมลยังอยู่มันงานของฉันทีเดียวWhat is not ABL? Right? And when talking about activity-based learning, I can compare to the 2-star and 1 wish, right? When you're talking about the activity-based learning with starting preparation or get them starting from the background, thinking about the sentence that they can write and even like have them to prepare the language before start. And also, when you do the activity, we need time, and the role of teachers gonna be like a monitoring more, and then even you can support the help. Great job. We have a feedback at the in the ends of the stage. Participatory, it's the thing that we do in the activity-based learning, but it's not the stage, right? So let's go more. คุณอาจารีมาแล้วไปต่อครับ quiz which are the why reading stages so normally reading for gist การอ่านเพื่อหาใจความสำคัญ reading for detail การอ่านเพื่อหารายละเอียด reading for specific information which is you can use skim and scanning 3 of them it's in the while listening stage ในขณะที่นักเรียนอ่าน you can use these 3 of idea right to use when they start reading more and more อย่าลืมนะครับ all correct Ooh, great go ahead let's go with students role in the CLT let's go with the student role so the student roles in the CLT or everyone's role who start to build the confidence on the communications, talking about like you can understand other people and you also can be understood from the other. When you're talking it's two-way communication การสื่อสารสองทางคุณต้องเข้าใจเขาเขาก็ต้องเข้าใจคุณด้วย This is when we call the simple indicator talking about what is communication skill right อาจารย์คุณหัวไฟมากโอ้ยขอบคุณมากครับ right so which techniques come on yes I think you understand the CCQ right what is visual aid anyone can help me what is it what is visual aid can anyone here help me please tick tock tick tock tick tock oh no one answered from the chat as well sad yep
สื่อต่างๆสื่อหลากหลาย
right so yeah if you see that visual it's something that they can see right and they can touch right and then it's as you say that it can be mean the สื่อ or the resource that the student can use what about mime มีใครได้ไหมครับ what is mime what is it what is mime what do you think
ทำท่าไป
ดีมากครับแต่ตอบดังกว่านี้นิดนึงได้ไหมคือคุณตอบถูกอ่ะผมคิดว่าเพื่อนบางคนไม่ได้ยินครับ Can you say that again what is mime
ทำใบครับ ทำท่าทาง
right yeah like when you teach your students stand up you raise your hand ใช้ท่าทาง right so pantomime it's also one of the thing that you can relate the meaning to the student again when you teach the new vocabulary meanings come first meaning come first เมื่อสอนคำศัพท์นะครับหรือภาษาอย่าลืมนะครับความหมายสำคัญมาก so you can use visual aid mime and also CCQ pantomime set to it your highest climber great job mate look at which are the correct presenting we're talking about M we call M F P M F P this is the strategies that we use when we're teaching the vocabulary for example right can you see my videos what is it on in my hand can you see my videos what is it in my hand yes so everyone has idea ขอบคุณคุณรพัฒน์สอนนะครับ you can answer from the chat Zoom yes when you teach the new language even like a Pathum 1 มัธยม 1 มัธยม 2 if you can show the meaning การถือของอย่างนี้ it mean that you related the meaning หลังจากนั้นค่อยให้ตัวเขียนเขาดู right so this is the flash drive this is the flash drive เห็นตัวเขียนนะครับแล้วค่อยพูดให้ฟัง so when the pronunciation we call M F P meaning form and pronunciation สอนด้วยการให้เขาเห็นของก่อนนะครับสื่อความหมายให้ได้แล้วค่อยโชว์ตัวหนังสือให้เขาเห็นหลังจากนั้นค่อยพาออกเสียง so this is help their like a mental thinking to expand the remember or memorization or even use it more and then they can relate the meaning without translation แล้วเขาก็จะเข้าใจความหมายโดยไม่ได้แปลเลย so meaning come first แล้วค่อยตัวอักษรแล้วค่อยพาออกเสียงนะครับอย่าลืมนะครับ this is the ways of we delivered ไปต่อนะครับ มีใครขึ้นมาไหมไม่มีนะครับคุณวิจิคุณอาร์เชอรี่สุดยอดคุณแม่อาร์เชอรี่ so let's have a look at the presenting grammar which technique has the different approaches when you teach grammar ก็คืออธิบาย grammar แบบตรงตัวแล้วพาเด็กไปทำแบบฝึกหัดไงครับ but number 1 number 2 and number 4 the kind of activities or technique that you use right ผมไม่แน่ใจว่าเพื่อนเห็นสิ่งที่ผมถือในมือไหมครับ What are they ช่วยหน่อยครับ You can say it faster ผมมีมือไม่ได้กดในแชท What are they ช่วยหน่อยครับ Help me please What are they in my hand ได้ไหมครับ2อย่างครับพอดีผมต้องกดทักอาจารย์พิมพ์มาผมต้องใช้มือนี่ right notebook and อะไรครับ pen drive right correctly what do you think what number could be using really a personalizing or number 4ผมจะสอน grammar โดยใช้ของสิ่ง2อย่างเนี้ยผมคิดว่าคุณคิดว่าผมใช้ข้อไหนครับ number 1 correct ครับขอบคุณมากครับ using real leaders นะครับใช้ของจริงแล้วคุณคิดว่าผมจะสอน grammar อะไรครับตอนนี้ช่วยหน่อยครับถ้าอาจารย์ตอบใน Zoom Chat เนี่ยผมต้องเอามือไปคลิกเมาส์อีกนะผมมี2มือเอง
present simple ตอบ
ยังไม่ใกล้ครับลอง try again present simple ใช้ได้ครับแต่เรื่องของผมอีกเรื่องนึงครับอาจจะเป็น present continuous try it again start with C
present continuous tense
start with C ครับไม่ใช่ present ครับผมจะไม่สอนเรื่องนั้น
Additional sentence.
Cultivar now.
Comparison. Cultivar now could teach, but comparison. ครั้งครับผมยก2อย่าง That's great. ขอบคุณมากครับ Comparison. So we can use realer. เห็นไหมครับและแบบนี้เราก็จะสอนง่ายขึ้นถ้าเราใช้อุปกรณ์ของจริงแล้วเด็กถืออยู่ในมือ So the thumb drive is tinier. is smaller or is not bigger than the notebook เห็นไหมฮะ so it's a comparison using really และเด็กก็จะมีความเข้าใจมากขึ้นนอกแทนที่จะจินตนาการตามคำศัพท์ที่อยู่บนกระดาน so we ask them to use more like ugliest uglier อะไรประมาณนี้ friendly more friendly something like this we can talk about like use some pictures right what about personalizing ผมถามแล้วครับว่าถ้าอาจารย์สอนแบบ personalizing อาจารย์จะสอนยังไงครับ what kind of activities or grammar that you can use for personalizing ช่วยหน่อยครับเมื่อกี้ using really คุณครูตอบได้เร็วมากขอบคุณมากครับซึ่ง present continuous หรือ now ก็ไม่ผิดนะครับแต่ผมอยากให้เสนอว่าเป็นลักษณะของตัวนั้นมากกว่าThat's great ขออีกครั้งครับ personalizing อาจารย์พอที่จะเห็นได้ไหมครับว่าเป็นยังไงบ้าง What kind of activities TikTok You can say it no worry พูดเลยครับอาจารย์ครับอาจารย์วภัทรสอนอาจารย์พูดกว้างมากครับผมเห็นด้วยครับแต่มันกว้างพอสมควรครับSo you can type, you can like a yes ผมคิดว่าผมได้กินคีย์เวิร์ดนะฮะอย่างเช่น like or don't like can do or cannot do something like that so it's personalizing what are you afraid of เห็นไหมฮะใช้สำนวนเรื่องของ preposition ที่มากับ verb เป็น two word verb แล้วก็สามารถสอนได้แล้วกันเป็นเรื่อง personalizing มากขึ้นเกี่ยวกับความคิดเห็นส่วนตัวชอบไม่ชอบกินไม่กินอะไรอย่างนี้ so what about practicing and presenting ช่วยหน่อยครับเลข4ข้อแบบรวดเร็วนะครับ tick tock tick tock tick tock tick tock tick tock tick tock ได้ไหมครับพี่สมชายพยายามพูดแต่มัน he cannot really hear you แต่ผมขอบคุณมากครับ
ฝึกปฏิบัติแล้วก็สรุปครับ
นั่นคืออาจารย์แปลครับ อาจารย์ต้องยกตัวอย่างกิจกรรมให้เห็นชัดเจน อาจารย์แปลตัวตามตัวหนังสือนี่ผมก็เข้าใจเหมือนอาจารย์เหมือนกันเนี่ยแต่เรายกตัวอย่างกิจกรรมที่เด็กทำได้ so what kind of activity that we use
สมมตินักเล่นเกมเกมอะไรแซมมอนเซเงี้ยก็คือเด็กก็เรียนเรื่องการใช้ direction
all right so I like that idea so I can extend more like when you give them the play Simon say they practice listening and speaking right so we have one message that they pass it around และอาจารย์ก็เปลี่ยน grammar ไปเรื่อยๆใช่ไหมฮะแล้วสุดท้ายเด็กก็พูดคำศัพท์เดิมๆหลายๆครั้งจนกระทั่งสุดท้ายเขามาสามารถนำเสนอได้ว่าประโยคนั้นคืออะไร we can call the practicing and presenting whisper and talking ถ้าครูบางคนอาจจะเก่งหน่อยให้ทำท่าประกอบไปด้วยนั่นคือ Simon say ประกอบเลยนะครับ right ผมอาจารย์พรผมไม่มีปัญหาเรื่องการใช้ meaning sounds and form ผมเห็นด้วยกับอาจารย์ครับเป็น meaning sounds and form ให้ได้ยินเสียงให้ได้ฟังเสียงแล้วก็ให้ได้ฟัง sound แล้วก็มาค่อยเป็นตัวหนังสือตัวนี้จะเป็นลักษณะของตัวเล็กๆมากขึ้นผมเห็นด้วยกับอาจารย์นะครับผมไม่มีข้อโต้แย้งแต่ย้ำอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับย้ำอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับเป็นmeaning come first แล้วแต่วิธีการที่อาจารย์จะใช้เห็นรูปพ้องเสียงเห็นรูปมีเสียงแล้วก็มาเห็นตัวอักษรหรือเห็นเสียงขอโทษนะเห็นรูปแล้วก็เห็นตัวอักษรพร้อมกันแล้วก็ตามด้วยเสียงตัวนี้ผมไม่เถียงอาจารย์นะครับคุณสามารถใช้ MPF ได้ซึ่งมันจะเป็นอีกข้อหนึ่งขอบคุณมากที่คุณกล้า discuss ตัวนี้กับผมแต่ย้ำอีกครั้งนะครับคอนเซปต์มันต้องเป็น ground for ตัวเดิมครับดรครับmeaning come first นะครับต้องให้เขาเห็นความหมายก่อนครับแต่โดยปกติของพวกเราเวลาโดนถูกสอนในช่วงเวลาที่ผ่านมามันจะให้เด็กไปหาคำศัพท์ไปหาความหมายและเด็กถึงจะจินตนาการออกว่ามันคืออะไรตัวนี้ผมเอาเป็นคอนเซปต์เดียวกับอาจารย์พรเลยนะครับผมขอบคุณมากที่อาจารย์สามารถที่จะโต้แย้งในสิ่งที่คิดเห็นกับผมได้โอเคครับไม่มีปัญหาครับขอบคุณสิ่งนี้เป็นเรื่องของวิธีการและเทคนิคนะครับวิธีการต่างๆที่เราเห็นที่เราเชื่อที่เราคิดแต่ต้อง based on อะไรอย่างบางอย่างร่วมกันก็คือสิ่งที่จะทำให้เด็กเขาจดจำได้ก็ซึ่งมาจากสิ่งที่เราเห็นและจับต้องได้ก่อน so then we starting to thinking about more right เหมือนเราฟังวิทยุนะครับเราก็ไม่เห็นรูปแบบแล้วก็ไม่เห็นความหมายแต่เราสามารถจินตนาการออกจากน้ำเสียงของเขาตัวนี้ผมก็อธิบายในแง่ของการทำความหมายให้มันเกิดขึ้นถึงแม้เด็กจะไม่เข้าใจภาษาตัวนั้นแต่เขาฟังวิทยุแล้วเขารู้สึกว่าผู้หญิงคนนี้เศร้ามากเห็นไหมครับนั่นคือซาวมาก่อนแล้วมันมีนิ่งมาทีหลังแต่อย่างไรก็ตามทฤษฎีหรือวิธีการต่างๆคุณครูต้องยืนหยัดโดยพื้นฐานความเข้าใจว่าต้องให้เด็กเข้าใจความหมายก่อนที่จะพาอ่านหรือการอ่านที่จะฟังเสียงหรือการจะพาเขียน Great ขอบคุณครับไม่โต้แย้งครับ Thank you very much ขอบคุณมากครับ Next one number 12 ผมกำลังจะจบนะครับอาจารย์ What is real year What is real year So now we have the little more ก่อนที่เราจะจบผมจะจบแล้วนะครับอาจารย์ผมไม่สามารถแตะไปอีกเรื่องหนึ่งได้ TikTok What is real year Good ตัวนี้เป็นภาษาละตินนะฮะRight. So very good. That's a real object, right? So like a phone, an earphone, fingers อย่างนี้นะครับนี่คือ real ears ของต่างๆที่มันจับต้องได้ Very good. Wow ขอบคุณมากครับพี่บอลพี่วิทยายังอยู่ครับน่าจะเกือบข้อสุดท้ายแล้วครับก่อนที่เราจะ break ครับถือว่าเป็นการทบทวนความรู้แล้วก็เช็คความเข้าใจ What is the post listening activities Right. So in the end of the reading, we don't teach them the grammar, but we ask them to analyze of the reading passage that how many sentence that they use present perfect how many sentence that they use if course type 3นะฮะเราก็จะเด็กก็จะ analyze ออกมาว่าประโยคที่อยู่ในเรื่องอ่านมีกี่ประโยคที่เขาใช้ grammar ที่เราเป็น target language ในการเรียนในแต่ละครั้งไปต่อครับ next one โอเคขอบคุณมากครับสุดท้ายจริงๆครับก่อนที่เราจะ break กัน number 14เหลืออีก2ข้อ teacher activity can most อะไรเอ่ยถ้าเป็น accuracy tick tock tick tock so instead of like we're thinking about like a accuracy feedback right when we're talking about some kinds of the language checked right we don't think about it's gonna give like a content feedback ความรู้ที่เขาได้ว่าเขาได้ถูกต้องไหมสมมติว่าเราสอนเรื่องเกี่ยวกับอะไร global warming แล้วก็หาวิธีการที่จะทำให้โลกมันหายร้อนขึ้น give the ways to suggest or give advice how to give the better how to make the better world not warmer in like next few decades we also can give feedback on the content but when we're talking about give some the language accuracy we normally do an anonymous ส่วนใหญ่เราจะไม่บอกชื่อนักเรียนนะฮะแล้วมันจะเป็นลักษณะของ positive reinforcement ด้วยเราก็จะใช้ในลักษณะของคล้ายๆว่าให้ดูตัวอย่างที่ดีเยอะๆบนกระดาน 2-3 สมมติว่านักเรียนเขียนมา10 คน50 คนแล้วเราก็ให้นักเรียนดูว่าตัวอย่างไอเดียหรือประโยคที่ดีๆมันมีอะไรบ้าง and then we can list some mistake language on the board and then we can say that it's related to 20 students from 50 มีนักเรียน20 คนที่ทำประโยคแบบนี้ผิดหมดเลยเพราะว่าเขาทำอะไรกันมาหรือเข้าใจผิดแล้วเราก็มาพูดกับนักเรียนในห้องว่าประโยคเนี้ยเราจะแก้ไขยังไง so when we do like this we give them more confident to use more language and even when you want to promote the accuracy we do it anonymous and then we show the good language practice more than the mistake language ซึ่งมันจะขัดแย้งกับพวกเราครูส่วนใหญ่จะชอบกากบาทผิดนักเรียนแต่โดยปกติเวลาที่เราจะทำให้นักเรียนใช้ภาษาเยอะๆเราจะลดการกากบาทผิดแต่เราจะบอกว่าถ้าจะทำให้มันดีกว่าจะทำยังไงบ้างและที่สำคัญที่สุดถ้าเราบอกว่าสมชายคุณเขียนประโยคนี้ผิดอีกแล้วนะสมชายคุณเขียนประโยคนี้ผิดอีกแล้วนะพี่สมชายเขียนประโยคนี้ผิดแล้วนะทั้งหมด5 ครั้งสมชายก็จะเกิดความรู้สึก demotivated ในการ learning ฉะนั้นถ้าเราสามารถบอกชี้สิ่งถูกสิ่งผิดให้ปราศจากชื่อมันจะมีความรู้สึกดีกับชั้นเรียนนั้นมากขึ้นนิดนึงนะครับสำคัญมากผมมีโค้ดที่มันเกี่ยวกับ show some good language มากๆก็คือเราเรียนรู้จากตัวอย่างที่ดีฉะนั้นเราส่วนใหญ่เวลาเรานำเสนอภาษาที่เวลาเราให้นักเรียนเปลี่ยนภาษาเราจะบอกว่านักเรียน5 คนนี้นะ10 คนนี้20 คนนี้ภาษาพวกนี้ดีมากเลยนะลองไปใช้บ่อยๆ so we promote the accuracy with the confidence as well ขอบคุณนะครับข้อสุดท้ายครับก่อนที่เราจะ break ครับ let's go what should not teachers during the preparation stage คิดถึง stage ในการสอนของนักเรียนนะครับ which is not we should not do what do you think เชื่อหลายคนคงจะเข้าใจไม่ตรงกันนิดนึงแต่เรามาทำความเข้าใจด้วยกันถ้านักเรียนเราแบ่งนักเรียนกันในกลุ่มในห้องเรานะ50 คนเราแบ่งกันทั้งหมด10 กลุ่มละ5 คนเราจะให้คำสั่งทีละกลุ่มไหมครับผมถามก่อนตอบมาเลยครับอาจารย์ครับมันจบแล้วครับ
ต้องให้พร้อมกัน
ครับต้องให้พร้อมกันนั้น give instruction in a group ไม่ได้นะครับต้อง give instructions in a whole class one time can check ขอบคุณมากนะครับอาจารย์ครับขอบคุณจริงๆที่ร่วมแชร์และแบ่งปันเรื่อง discussion แล้วก็ขอบคุณมากที่มีองค์ความรู้มาให้ผม discuss แล้วก็เปรียบเทียบแล้วก็ให้แสดงทัศนะด้วย thank you very much and the winner ขอบคุณที่4ที่5ด้วยนะครับ5 คนนี้อย่าลืมส่งที่อยู่มานะครับเดี๋ยวส่งรางวัลไปให้นะครับเป็นกิจกรรมจาก British Council อาจารย์ครับ ที่จริงผมเหลืออีกกิจกรรมหนึ่งแต่ผมไม่สามารถไปต่อได้เราต้อง break ตามเวลาของเรานะครับ thank you very much ขอบคุณคุณน้องคุณพี่2-3 คนนะครับที่มี message แล้วก็ข้อความแล้วก็วาจาที่เป็นลักษณะวิธีการคิดให้ผมได้เอื้อต่อการอธิบายแล้วก็ discussion กันตรงนี้ได้ด้วย thank you very much for the ideas and also the ways that we have to thinking about how we could do differently in our classroom we have break time ขออนุญาตเบรกแค่10 นาทีนะครับเดี๋ยวค่อยกลับมาใหม่เดี๋ยวขออนุญาตเรียกก่อนเข้าน้ำแป๊บๆครับ thank you see you all right we back Jeremy you and me have about 15 minutes each right so you want me to do first or you do first your microphone please
My apologies. I don't think I need to have as long as sip Hanati. I think Hanati will probably do me good. Let me share a screen with you, see if we can answer some questions.
Great.
Is that okay? Right, so this is the pre and the post test. We didn't actually complete the pre-test, never mind. We'll just do the post test. So, should we maybe have a score between Team A and Team B, yeah? Group A and Group B. So, for the first person who's able to produce the correct answer, they can have a point. Pator, are you able to keep score, please?
All right. Go do it now.
Thank you. So, therefore, if it is a person from Team A who is able to produce the first correct answer, then it is a point for Team A. If it is Team B, it's a point for Team B. Let us only do teacher talk to keep things quick. So, how can you use classroom language to assist the understanding of your learners? Anybody? Nobody? Obviously a very successful session that was. How can you use classroom language to assist the understanding of your learners? Do you keep it simple or do you make it complex?
Make it simple.
Good. Who is that? A or B?
A.
A. That is 1 point Couture for Team A. So the score, Team A 1, Team B 0. Not that I want to be motivating to Team B, you understand. Right, 2. What type of language and gestures do we use when giving instructions to our learners? Just give us an example. Go.
Can I answer?
Please do.
You should use like the simple language, make it short and easy to understand, and you can use your body expression in order to make the student easily understand what you say. Like, for example, listen carefully, listen to me, like this.
Excellent. 1 point to Group B. So
Team
now,
B.
Team
Team
A,
B.
Team A 1, Team B 1. Question 3. How do you check their understanding of concepts or meaning?
Ask the question.
Questions. Good. And these questions are called what? Something questions.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Concept checking questions. But I think questions is enough. So 1 point to Team B. The score now, Team B 2, Team A 1. Is that correct, Couture? It is. Question 4. How can you elicit information from learners using a variety of techniques?
You can use pictures, questions,
Great.
gesture, or
give the situation. Give the situation and let students think about it.
Okay, good. Who was the
Team B?
Who was the first teacher?
Team B.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh,
Can you
Team
give
B.
Somchai and Suvimon, they are Team B.
Great. So if you can give a point to Team B. So the score now is how much, Contour?
Team A 1, Team B 3.
Oh, let's see who gets the last question.
Oh,
What are some of the different strategies to give feedback to your learners at the end of an activity or lesson?
teacher center and
Yeah.
student center.
Great.
That's
One
correct.
point to Team B. The
Yeah.
final score, Contour. Final score.
4-1.
Team B 4, Team A 1. Congratulations.
Oi, Team A. Try more.
Congratulations,
Try more.
Team A. Great.
I can help Team A then.
Right. Over to you, Couture.
Huh. Oi. This is great, right? That is very fast that we learn from our terminologies, and also we can explain on our own word. Let's go to PLC Live Group. Can you have a look here? Right. If you go to our sessions record, which is Team B, you miss it. I'm sorry about that. And then have a look at my activities, right? Before we going have a look to our friend examples, right? Can you see the photos here?
Yes.
Right. Let me try share it again, because I think it's go to the live group. Try share it again. Try share again. Ta-da! All right, let's assume that everyone sees clearly because it's my handwriting, 2 minutes. So can you see that what level is the activities that I use?
Work fair.
Yeah, the work fair. So what are they going to do in the work fair, right? Thinking about the resource in number 1. What is the resource for the student that they're going to prepare? It's like a production task for the student.
Resume.
Yes, correct.
Newspaper. Website. Looking for a job.
Right. What kind of interaction pattern that they start after they finish the resume?
Interaction. I want to be.
They're going to be present in pair or in a group. What do you think?
Or individual.
Let's have a look at number 2. Can you see it? I'm not sure that you can see it clear.
Level M1, M3.
Yes.
In pair.
Yeah, they do in pair after they finish the resume. They have to talking about their resume into their friends or their partner.
Send to the pair.
Yes, correct, Ajahn. Very good. And then what about number 3?
Show in the work fair role play.
That's great. So in the work fair, we probably have the roles of the people who play in the role play, right? Who are they? Who are the people in the work play? Who are the roles in the work fair? Could be
Students.
Yeah, sure. Student will be in the work fair, but what are the roles of the roles in the work fair?
Job seekers.
Could be. And we're thinking about when you go to the company, right? The student graduate Mathayom 6 or Mathayom 3, that you're going to use the resume to their, right, to apply the jobs in the company. This is the situation.
Maybe
Yes, the
employers,
applicants, the
employers
employers.
and HR managers and specialists and the applicants.
Right. So can you tell me what are the like a language that they're going to use? What are the target language that they're going to use? Can you give an examples of the target language?
Future simple นะ
Good. Give the samples of the language, please.
Future simple
I'm going to apply for a job. Something.
Oh, good.
I will do this and that.
All right, great. What about if you are HR managers, human resources manager? What kind of question that you're going to like ask the applicant or the employee?
Can you?
That's
Can
great.
you นะ Can you
All right. All right. What's your qualifications? Something like that. So this is.
What's your
Do you think that we can
experience?
change the topic of workfare? Do you think that you can change the topic to workfare into any other topic? What else?
Other topic. Change from workfare to other topic. Relate to workfare? Have
That
to,
that
or-
could be one of idea, but what else that you think that you can like a change?
Maybe applying to go to university.
Yes.
Wow, because they are Matthew 3 that we're thinking about they're going to college, right? Because I like your
going to-
idea, Jeremy. That's they're going to continue their further studies, right? After they finish their resume and they can prepare the session or questions.
Maybe
as
we
well.
could have a library of all the prospectuses of the universities and the colleges, and then they can have a look. It can actually be an exercise to be able to read, to be able to skim, to be able to scan, to be able to choose the place they want to go and the subject, and to explain the reason for that.
Wow, that's brilliant. Anything Ekarat or Ekachai that you want to include? Thank you very much, Jeremy. Tam ting tong.
May I add up something a little bit about this topic? For those who's studying in the upper secondary level, maybe in a business aspect, we should show them the differences between the resume and the CV or curriculum vitae as well.
Cool. So that's the different task or different activity that you can adapt it. Ajahn Masana, I'm sorry you cannot see, but you can also search on in the live group. I just post it, right? Ajahn Masana, ขอโทษด้วยที่คุณไม่สามารถเห็น but you can see in the live group if you can, right? Line note, right? Have a look in more activities from our friends, the teachers that they choose. They're talking to us as well in the note. Let me show just one of our teachers that finished. All right. Do you mind if I share one more teachers? No, please.
No.
Let's go with teacher Duang Tip. Right. Now we go to the teachers Duang Tip. Shall we? 3, 2, 1. Ting tong. This is the quick plan from teacher Duang Tip. Thank you very much.
On weekend, language focus is are going to do.
Yeah, what skill do they practice? What do you think?
One to entry, student plan.
What skill do they practice?
Skill.
Speaking.
Yeah,
and
for
writing.
sure. I think that you're correct. What else that you think that before
Grammar.
they speak?
English grammar.
So that's the language focus, right? But what skills?
Writing.
They probably like doing the script, right? And the same an activity. You see that even you use the activity of the role play, you can change the topic in a different scenery and different script. And you also use in a different level of the student as well, right? So what kind of question that you can use here, or what kind of structures of sentence language focus that they can use, please? For sure, that's future simple. That can you give me any like the planning for doing something on the weekend. Can you give an examples, please, of the sentence?
What are you going to do this coming weekend?
And think about the role plays. Who are the roles? Like a work fair, we think about, we have like HR, recruitment managers, or even like a boss or from the company talking to you. But who else will be in the role play here? Who could talk this sentence often to you?
I think peers, some peers.
Right. So you probably like invite them to do something on the weekend, right? So this is the situation that we have something in common, and then we can ask a group to do in a club. Hey, we have a riding club, we have a skateboarding club, we have a hip hop club, and then we can start it like a group of interesting to do something together, and then they can relate using English in the activity as well. Right. So the last activity for sure. I will no longer work on the something that you can read on your own, but I really interesting that the thing that the teachers like post it to us, and I love to hear from Title. Teacher Title. Who is Teacher Title? Right. Who is teacher? Hello, Title. Hello, Title. All right. Thank you very much for Title again. You can see that even Title using the same thing at the weekend. But what kind of activity or resources that he used? It's not a role play, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they plan to do. But what kind of an activity? I don't think it's a role play, right?
The weekend searching something.
Do you think that he mentioned an activities? No. So we have the language used, but we have to think about the task or activity that they're going to use. What about like this sentence going to ask them to chat on the group chat, right? So again,
generate idea.
Yes, sure.
Generate
Kanchana, go
idea
ahead.
to do. Generate idea to do on weekend. Like ask.
You're correct.
Any
But
idea
again,
for
the same
weekend.
question to you. What kind of like a task that we can ask them to do these kind of sentence? Because Ajahn, the previous activity we're talking about role play. How can we adapt these same topic in the different activities?
Production.
Somchai, can you say that again, please?
Production.
Yeah, in the productions, I suggest one thing that maybe you can thinking about, right? So we relating to the like a Instagram chat group that they probably use and ask about the people to survey. In a survey task, which is we can relate to use the same language many times again and again, and they can practice, right? Okay, what are you going to do at the weekends, Mr. Ikarat? Are you planning to go to Moshit? No.
No.
Right. Okay. Great job for the examples of the evidence of your learning. Prakat?
Yes, or maybe that we can add up in the previous topic that you just mentioned about a survey that where we should go in on vacation, right? But now is from COVID-19 situation. That's maybe that we can have another topic. For example, that is something that must have item to prevent COVID-19 when you go outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you change the topic. Great job. That's idea, because we have the starting point. Don't forget that when you have an idea and when you listen to someone, even you like been through this workshop or different workshop, what else that you can adapt in your classroom, how you're going to change your, and then plus your student, think about your student in your class situation, real situation, how do they going to step by step, go step by step, and then what else they can learn more. So in the training room, it's just the trainer's idea with the teacher's idea, but don't forget your student, your stakeholder, one of the most important one, right? So this is all from Tor and Mr. Jeremy. Anything add in? No, thank you.
All good. Thank you, Tor.
May I take this opportunity to invite teacher Vidya from Bokeo Geson School to be the teacher representative to express the gratitude and wrap up what we gained since the morning session. Please, teacher Vidya.
ค่ะ ได้ยินไหมคะ ได้ยินไหมเอ่ย
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I would like to be the representative of this class to say thank you to our professional trainers. But actually, I would like to speak for everyone in this online workshop that we are extremely grateful to have everyone with us today. Not only our professional and kind trainers, but also the professional moderator teams that take care of us. This presentation today is very informative and very useful. I gain a lot of knowledge, experience, and any ideas from the trainers and from other teachers from other school. So I realized that as a teacher, no matter how many years that we have experience in teaching English in the classroom, we still have to keep practicing ourselves all the time. So the content today that I get from you too is very effective. And I think everyone in here will use the idea and the experience that we get to apply in our classroom. So I hope that we will have any other opportunity to invite you to share your knowledge, your experience, and your idea with us again in the coming future. So thank you very much today. ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณอาจารย์วิทยามากๆเลยนะคะลำดับต่อไปค่ะอาจารย์ต่อเราจะพูดเทสกันเลยหรือว่าจะตอนนี้จะมีท่านผอ.นิคมกกขุนทดค่ะผู้อำนวยการกลุ่มนิเทศติดตามและประเมินผลการจัดการศึกษาค่ะก็อยู่ในซูมแล้วนะคะเพื่อที่จะ closing ceremony อะค่ะตอนนี้เราจะ
I just sent it to the group, no worry, and you can do until 5 o'clock in the evening. 20 items, right? I post in the live group and also the Zoom chat as well, right?
Okay.
And you have 1 hour, 1 hour and a half to do this one. You can redo it again.
งั้นลำดับต่อไปขออนุญาตเรียนเชิญท่านสน.นิคมกกขุนทดค่ะผู้อำนวยการกลุ่มนิเทศติดตามและประเมินผลการจัดการศึกษากล่าวปิดการประชุมในวันนี้ค่ะเรียนเชิญค่ะ
ครับสวัสดีท่านคณะวิทยากรนะครับและก็คุณครูทุกท่านนะครับที่ได้เข้ามาร่วมการอบรมในวันนี้ถือว่าวันนี้ได้รับความรู้อย่างดีมากนะครับจากคณะวิทยากรซึ่งท่านก็ได้มาถ่ายทอดความรู้ให้กับคุณครูซึ่งก็คงทางเขตพื้นที่การศึกษาก็คงต้องขอบคุณนะครับทั้งคณะวิทยากรและคุณครูทุกท่านนะครับก็คงหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าการอบรมครั้งนี้คุณครูทุกท่านก็คงต้องจะต้องนำไปขยายผลนะครับในเรื่องของการจัดการเรียนการสอนกับนักเรียนนะครับโดยเฉพาะภาษาอังกฤษเนี่ยถือว่าเป็นภาษาที่สำคัญนะครับสำหรับนักเรียนอย่างน้อยเป็นพื้นฐานคล้ายๆกับภาษาไทยนะครับที่เขาจะสามารถที่จะไปเรียนต่อหรือศึกษาต่อค้นคว้าหาความรู้ได้นะครับในโอกาสต่อไปนะครับก็ในนามของสำนักงานเขตพื้นที่การศึกษามัธยมศึกษาเขต 4นะครับก็ขอขอบคุณท่านคณะวิทยากรทุกท่านคุณครูทุกท่านแล้วก็ทีมงานของสพม.ปทุมธานีนะครับก็วันนี้ถือว่าได้รับความรู้อย่างเต็มทั้งวันนะครับเป็นการอบรมที่เต็มสปีดจริงๆนะครับจากการที่ผมได้นั่งฟังก็เห็นคุณครูตั้งใจนะครับท่านวิทยากรก็ตั้งใจที่จะให้ความรู้กับคุณครูได้อย่างดียิ่งนะครับก็เดี๋ยวเห็นสน.อ.จะมีการกำกับติดตามนิเทศนะฮะโดยทีมคณะวิทยากรและก็คุณครูก็ขอให้ทุกท่านนะครับนำความรู้ที่ได้รับไปใช้ อย่างดีที่สุดแล้วก็เป็นประโยชน์ต่อนักเรียนของเรานะครับขอบคุณมากครับปิดการประชุมเลยใช่ไหมปิดก่อนเขาปิดการประชุมครับ
ขอบพระคุณท่านสน.นิคมกกคุณทศค่ะท่านผู้อำนวยการค่ะตอนนี้นะคะคุณครูอย่าเพิ่งรีบออกนะคะเดี๋ยวขออนุญาตคุณครูตอนนี้เราได้ส่งแบบประเมินผลความพึงพอใจในการเข้าร่วมอบรมในวันนี้นะคะเข้าไปในไลน์กลุ่มแล้วนะคะรวมทั้งมีอยู่ในช่องแชทด้วยนะคะรบกวนคุณครูทุกท่านช่วยทำให้ด้วยนะคะเพื่อที่ค่ะเพื่อที่ทางสำนักงานเขตนะคะได้นำไปปรับปรุงนะคะโดยเฉพาะข้อเสนอแนะนะคะข้อเสนอแนะของท่านนะคะก็จะเป็นประโยชน์กับเรามากนะคะเพราะว่าเราทำงานเพื่อบริการคุณครูนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นวันนี้นะคะสน.โดยเฉพาะสน.เนี่ยอาจจะมีผิดพลาดในหลายๆเรื่องนะคะต้องขออภัยในหน้าที่นี้ด้วยนะคะก็จริงๆขอบพระคุณท่านวิทยากรเป็นอย่างสูงนะคะท่านอาจารย์ต่อวิราชนะคะ and thank you for อาจารย์เจอร์มี่ด้วยนะคะคืออาจารย์ต่อเนี่ยนะคะท่านงานยุ่งมากนะคะที่ผ่านมานะคะถ้าคุณครูทุกท่านถ้าพอจะติดตามผลงานของท่านอาจารย์ต่อนะจะเห็นเลยว่าตอนนี้ท่านขึ้นไปขับเคลื่อนหลักสูตรนะคะโดยเฉพาะในเรื่องของ active learning จริงๆ boot camp ทำมานานมากแล้วนะคะของอาจารย์ต่อนะคะก็ท่านก็ปลีกเวลามานะคะพอติดต่อไปกลิ้งเดียวก็ท่านก็ยินดีเลยค่ะบอกเดี๋ยวผมมาช่วยนะคะถ้าไม่ติดโควิดท่านมาลุยปทุมแล้วนะคะก็ขอบพระคุณมิตรภาพอันยาวนานของเรานะคะที่ทำให้เราได้สร้างเครือข่ายนะคะเครือข่ายทางวิชาการนี่เป็นเครือข่ายที่สำคัญนะคะแล้วก็เข้มข้นมากนะคะก็หวังว่าเดี๋ยวต่อไปนะคะในเซสชันต่อไปเดี๋ยวพวกเราจะมีการ follow on กันนะคะก็หวังว่าจะได้ไปเยี่ยมชมไปพบปะคุณครูนะคะทั้งใน Zoom ในออนไลน์หรือแม้แต่ออนไซต์นะคะถ้ามีอะไรให้ทางสำนักงานเขตนะคะรับใช้นะคะยินดีเสมอค่ะประสานงานหรือว่าทำทุกเรื่องเลยนะคะก็วันนี้สนุกสนานแล้วดีมากๆเลยนะคะก็หวังว่า